Good afternoon, students. My name is Dr. Samuel Aku, and I'm going to be interacting with you on BUS111 Introduction to Business. And this afternoon we are going to look at types of business institutions. And we are on Module 3, Types of Business Institutions. In this module, we are going to consider types of institutions, for-profit institutions, not-for-profit institutions, functions of profits, and sources of profits. The objectives that this course is how to achieve at the end is that you will be able to define the term institution, explain the creation of not-for-profit institutions, describe profit-oriented institutions, explain the functions of profits, and then identify the sources of profit. By way of introduction, this module discusses the types of institutions. Emphasis is on profits and not-for-profit organizations. So we shall start right away looking at types of institutions. Before going into this subject matter, let us define the word institution. An institution is an aggregation of people and sources and resources. An aggregation of people and resources dedicated to accomplishing some mission or achieving some goals. There are companies, trade associations, banks, stockbrokers, credit unions, governments, military groups, and churches, and even mosques. Institutions can be classified into several ways. Here we shall classify them as either profit-seeking or non-profit institutions. Non-profit institution. You will recall that most human needs are provided for by either business or government. Where these two institutions fail to meet certain needs of the people, the non-profit institutions come in handy. That is, becomes the option or the available option that would provide such needs of the society. So not-for-profit or corporations are created under state law. As are business corporations. So being non-profits does not connote money losing, nor is it a legal channel for members of an organization to profit at the expense of society. In essence, what this is saying is that because it is saying that it's non-profit institution does not mean that when anyone is employed there, they behave anyhow by way of enriching themselves or taking the money that is meant for projects for personal use. So an institution's qualification as a non-profit institution is not the question of income and expenses relationship, but rather what the organization does with any surplus. The law setting it up demands not-for-profit institutions to keep their entire surplus in the organization. That is like the accountant will say, plowing back the profit into the business or into the organization. So distribution of surplus or part of it to its members is not allowed. It's not allowed. Meaning that because you have made profit, maybe you have made profit or a surplus, you have surplus of 1 million, you share 500,000, or you share the 5 million and come to a level of break even. It's not allowed. So we are looking at the creation of not-for-profit institutions. Not-for-profit institutions. Usually a group of people join together to form this type of organization. Just as in the case of business enterprise, and their aim is often to achieve a specific objective. However, the following differences exist in their formation. A. The founders who invest their money in these organizations do so with no expectation of financial gain. B. The founders are usually people who have been successful in their careers and who are forming this institution because of a desire to serve. Desire to serve. We see them all around. And what this means is that if you have made it in a particular sphere of life, in a particular career, you can make it give a better life to the community where you come from, or to the society generally in various areas. C. The founders do not associate with the organization for the purpose of making a living, meaning that these founders do not depend on this organization to earn a living. They don't earn salary, they don't earn commission, they don't earn allowance, they don't earn anything. Rather, they take money from their other sources to come and fund the organization so it can achieve the objective for which it is set up. So we are quickly going to look at differences between non-profit and for-profit institutions. A. The differences. The managers of business must satisfy the owners. The managers of business must what? Satisfy the owners. Where earnings are less than expected, managers stand the risk of their job. They stand the risk of losing their jobs. However, such pressures on managers are not commonplace in not-for-profit organizations. Not-for-profit organizations are not looking for profit. All they want is they allow the managers to work towards meeting the objective for which the organizations are set up. So their managers are not trying to satisfy any owners, as there are no such owners. Rather, they try to satisfy the segment of the community that the organization was created to serve. It all means that managers of not-for-profit organizations are out to only meet the objectives of the organization and not to satisfy the owners. B. It is difficult to derive hard and fast standards of performance for managers of not-for-profit organizations. C. Ineffective managers are sheltered, while better managers are frustrated. In this kind of arrangement, there is what we call eye service is possible, because people are not being measured by performance. Rather, they do eye service, they do all manner of things to be able to get away with the situation. D. Private business is self-supporting, while non-profit organizations depend on outsiders for financial support. For financial support. For financial support, meaning that the private businesses, they fend for themselves. The money they make, they are able to pay their bills and make profit. Why not for profit depend on donations, depends on contributions or whatever means of generating their money. Then quickly we will look at the concept of profit. Concept of profit. When we talk about profit, what does it mean? What does it mean? We all have some ideas of what profit means. In general terms, it signifies a gain of some sort. People may profit from their experience. Some types of employment bring more profit than others. To the accountant, who measures the business person's profits, profit is the excess of income over what? The expenses of the firm for a stated period of time, which is usually 1 year. To the owners of business, profit is the increase in their equity in the firm, the additional amount that they now own as compared to their ownership at the start of the accounting period. That is what the concept of profit means. Then we'll quickly look also at the functions of profit. What does profit stand for? Functions of profit. The following are the functions. 1 or A, profit provides incentives. Profit is the driving force behind the free enterprise system. Free enterprise system, that is a system that demand and supply dictates the tone of whatever is happening in the economy. They are driven by the forces of demand and supply. Both owners of business and employees work hard to keep the business going, but the profit motive is often behind the tireless effort of the owners who work round the clock to keep their business going. Number 2 function is profit allocates resources. In every society, resources in the form of material, men, money, machines, technology, skills, and land abound. One major economic problem is that of allocating scarce resources. C. In totalitarian governments, the dictator allots resources on the basis of his priorities. In free enterprise profit system, profit is the allocator of resources, meaning that if you make profit, that is when you are going to be able to allocate for various needs of the organization. Men of talent are attracted into enterprise with good profit potentials. That is, men that have talent, they have what it takes. They are attracted into organizations or enterprises looking at the potentials that the enterprise have with respect to making profit in the future, because they know that their welfare, their well-being is predicated on the profitability of the organization. If you have talent and you join an organization that is not doing well, over time you get frustrated because you are not going to be paid in accordance with your talent, in accordance with what you have potentials to do in the organization. So profit is used to buy needed resources. Next one, profit measures efficient productivity. Efficient productivity. In a highly competitive market, a firm's profit will depend on its efficiency. That is, what volume of profit the firm can make is a function of its efficiency, and efficiency has to do with cost minimization, production at the least cost. So the more efficient a firm produces its product, the lower its cost. Hence, the more profit it realizes. Therefore, in many situations, a firm's profit reflects its efficiency. So, a firm that is doing well, or an organization that is making good profit, you will agree with me that they have high efficiency. Look at the banking industry, for instance. You see the banks that are turning in large volume of profitability year in, year out are efficient bank. You see that their workforce put in their best, and everybody is measured based on performance over time, and the cumulative performance of each individual staff will be what will become the performance or the profitability of the organization. So the next one is profit is the means for growth. The means for growth. That's another function. A business firm that does not make profit cannot exist for long. Also, the desire and willingness of individuals to invest in a business is governed largely by the firm's profit history or profit potential. Yes, an organization may not be making profit right now, but over time, if an investor sees that there is potential or hope of making profit over time, they will be desirous of investing in such organization. So we want to quickly also look at sources of profit. Sources of profit. When we talk of profit, where or how does it come about? So we'll look at that. A business can make profit from one source or a combination of sources. A combination of sources. The undermentioned sources are the most common sources. One, or A, innovation. That is, one of the classical theories of profit maintains that profit is created through innovation. Through innovation. That is, if you innovate anything, you are bound to be the one that will benefit from what the output of that innovation will be in terms of profitability. So that is, management innovates something. Such innovation can be what? A new product, a new process, a new way of managing things, or any other improvement in either their costs or revenue side of the business. So management will continue to reap profit from that innovation until that innovation becomes obsolete. Anything that is innovated only has a lifespan. It will come to a point that it becomes obsolete. At the point it will become obsolete is that many have already discovered that innovation and it's no longer an innovation, and they will go into it to also benefit from it. So innovative profit, though important, can be short-lived, meaning that it does not last for too long, as competition is quick at copying innovations. The next one, B, is managerial acumen. A departmental management or department management, that is the type that is capable of devising systems, can create profit. That is, for instance, in the university today, the IT center is is like a cost center, or a center or a part of the university. If IT center is able to manage all their roles properly, they can generate money that is capable of making them to make profit. C, monopoly. Monopoly can be the result of a profit can be the result of some monopoly. It is true that most businessmen continually seek monopolistic positions. The earnings of NEPA, for example, are monopoly profits. However, monopolies can exist in other forms such as land, location, raw materials, and other cost inputs. So we want to look at location monopolies. Most businesses make their profit because they occupy choice locations. Some petrol stations and fast food outlets are examples. And this choice location, I call it strategic location. When a business is properly or strategically located, it tends to, have patronage beyond those that are in obscure locations or locations that are not easily accessible. The other one is raw material monopolies. Any business that has control of raw materials is bound to make profit. An example can be a restaurant owner who is also a farmer. The product from your farm can be used in your restaurant, thereby allowing you to make profits more than you ought to. D, frictional profits. Frictional profit. Some firms make their profit as a result of marketplace inertia or friction. The profits are insufficient to attract competitors. Small and medium-sized firms are able to function almost unobserved by potential competitors. What this is saying is that there are some businesses that are sited in locations where people don't really expect anything from them, but they are doing well there. And competition will not even look at them because they will feel nothing is happening here. But they are there reaping their profits. So that is frictional or inertial competition. A profit. So the next E is illusory. Illusory profits. Illusory profit. What appear to be profit may not be profit at all. They can be pure illusion. Pure illusion, taking any of the following forms. 1. Inflationary profit. This arises as a result of inflation. Maybe inflation will come and then you think you have made the profit because price of item has gone up, but the value of the money in the real sense may not have risen. So it's more like an illusion. So the businessman sells at a price level so high that he makes profit where he would not have made ordinarily. This happened recently in Nigeria, where the subsidy was removed from petroleum product, and what happened is the people jacked their price from 190 something to 537 naira, and they make almost 3 times the money, which was more like inflationary profit. Then the next one is paper profits. 2. Paper profits. Paper profits are those that one has because of an appreciation in the value of his asset, the asset of the organization or the firm, that are yet to be converted into cash, or some other force increases the value of one's property, be it land, inventory, or stock, and this increased value is reflected on accounting statement, even though one has not converted the asset into cash. This is a dangerous situation, in that the paper profits may vanish on attempt to realize them. The stock market is filled with speculators who thought they had something of value only to be disappointed. Only to be disappointed. Number 3, accounting profits. These are closely related to paper profits. The difference is that while paper profits have not been realized because they are assets that have not been turned into cash, the accounting profit have been turned into cash and a true economic profit realized, but the owner cannot lay his hands on the money, for it has what been invested immediately in some assets. If the businessman takes a position or is of new investment, the profit may become an illusory profit. The next, number 4, windfall profit. Windfall profit. Windfall profits are the result of some unusual economic event that is not part of the operational routine of the organization. A windfall profit is unpredicted and is not likely to happen in exactly the same way. Examples are if a company wins a large lawsuit or is able to sell off an obsolete plant or some subsidiary for a profit. And I call this one a one-off event. One-off event because it happens one-off, maybe in a whole year. That will happen in 1 month and you make the profit, or happen in 2 months, you make the profit, and thereafter you keep making losses because your business may not have been able to sustain your goings concern. So we'll quickly again look at non-profit objectives. Non-profit objectives. Profit alone is not the main reason people go into business. Other motivating forces exist. The following are noteworthy. A. Survival. It is believed that the primary objective of business is to survive. The primary objective of business is to survive. Because it's when you survive as a business that you even talk of other motives in terms of profitability or not. So in fact, business must survive in order to maximize profit. However, a statute managers or businessman shy away from profit maximization as a result of the tendency for it to attract competition. What this is saying is that there are some business people who will not necessarily put profit maximization as their main objective because they are afraid of competition. They don't want other people to know the way they are benefiting. So they would rather say they are only surviving. B, number 2, is power. Power objective for non-profit institution. Some men are motivated by power. They seek control over workers and physical assets. It's just like people saying, I'm the owner of this bank. And when people in the society hear that you are the owner of a bank, they see you as a powerful man or see you as that man that have what it takes. So for power, people establish businesses. C, employment. Most businessmen are people oriented. As a result, they go into business in order to provide stable employment for them. That is for the people. D, fun. Fun is another objective why people establish business. Fun. So business can be fun business can be fun, and many people find themselves engaged in it because they enjoy it. To many, all the activities involved in running a business have their origin from the fun they get. That is, day to day, you move out of your house. Every day you go out there to go and do one kind of business or the other. That is the fun of it. E, or number 5, service to society. Most businessmen want to be of service to society. For example, there are some companies that give training to the underprivileged. Some law firms are known to handle cases from handle cases for no charge for the poor of the society, which we call pro bono, free cases. So, having considered this, we have some exercise for us to quickly run through. Remember, we have mentioned the objective we are out to achieve at the end of this module, and this exercise will help us, and you have to take note of them for the purpose of assessment. Number 1, what is an institution? You must be able to define an institution from the lecture that you have listened to. Number 2, what is not-for-profit institution? What is not-for-profit institution? How are they created? You must know what they are and how they are created. Number 3, what are the major differences between the not-for-profit and for-profit institution? Number 4, explain the concept of profit. Number 5, what are the functions of profit? And finally, number 6, identify and explain the various sources of profit. So, by way of summary and conclusion, this chapter discusses the various types of institutions. 2 major types of institutions, the not-for-profit and for-profit institutions, were discussed. The chapter also threw light on sources of profit. By way of reflection, having read through this chapter or listened to this chapter, what in your own opinion would be the major differences between the Nigerian Red Cross and Cabri Nigeria PLC? You need to know the difference between the 2 organizations. And an assignment for you: name 10 profit-oriented organizations you know. 10 profit-oriented organizations you know. And in Nasarawa here, they abound. And in Abuja, they abound. In Nigeria, they abound. All over the world, you can name, there's no limit. So what are their sources of profit? So when you have named them, you should also be able to state their sources of profit. So we have provided here references and further reading for you to be able to update yourself further and expand the scope of your knowledge with respect to the module we have covered.